Live.
Coming live.
Good morning. Coming live to you from our studio here in Guelph, Ontario, to wherever you are in the world wide web on YouTube and with your membership here on barsandbells.com. My name is Ian.
I'm Lauren.
Thank you for joining us today at our bodyweight and bell practice. I have a rather large kettlebell off to the side. Lauren has one off to the side as well. It's a little bit on the lighter side. We practiced our kettlebell skills yesterday, and my practice yesterday was a little bit on the lighter side. So today, I'll be using a heavy bell. Lauren last night was pressing heavy, so today, just refining the groove with a lighter bell. For beginners, or us who very much love that kettlebell, pick your load, build strength, and take time. Wave. Heavy, light for strength. Start with our breath, and for that, let's get to the floor. Anyhow you want, Lauren. No rules.
Good. Move over.
Oh, just push me out of the way. There we go. To the floor. On the ground here, we like to start with that breath with a hand on the belly and a hand on the chest. With closed lips, take a breath into the belly, filling full. Exhale. For a 4-second inhale, repeat. Push the belly into the hand. Create room down low. And exhale. Repeat in the chest. The mouth closed, breath in. Maybe the eyes close and exhale. And repeat. Bottom hand stays calm. Top hand breathes in to the chest. And exhale. Repeat the belly breath down low, breathing in. Let's hold full for 4 seconds and a nice slow exhale. Hold empty for 4 seconds. Repeat one more belly breath in, filling full and creating room. Hold full and slow exhale. Hold empty. Keep that belly button pulled into the spine and now breathe into the chest. Hold full and exhale slow. And with the belly pulled into the spine, repeat our chest breath again. In through the nose, hold full, and out through the nose. For the very last time on the breath here, take a full belly breath in. Hold full. Then into the chest next. Hold full. Follow with the exhale. And relax. For the next part of the warm-up, I'll get to my back side. Lauren will also be staying on the back, working on some of our knee hinges. From here, yeah, how does that work out nicely here without me kicking you in the head? So little chin tucks on the ground. One knee could be bent or straight out. Your call. From here, flex the other knee and the hip towards vertical femur bone or at the hip, and very casually extend through the knee. Point the foot, flex the ankle the other way, re-straighten the leg as allowed. Repeat, point the foot, flex the ankle the other shape, straighten the knee, and nice and control, move down.
Bend the knee.
Bend the knee. Return that leg to the floor. Repeat on the other side. Flex from the hip. And as we straighten the knee, we want to make sure that the leg is staying in the same position, encouraging that knee to extend. And then point the toe. Flex the ankle. Extend the knee as allowed. One more time. Point. Flex. Straighten the knee. And then controlling with the hamstring and the quads on the front, bend the knee, return to the floor. Repeat one last time. Knee towards chest. Standardize that the hip flexion remains the same as the knee extends. At the ankle, go to the ballet point. Then that dorsiflex pull. Re-straighten the knee as allowed. Repeat to the point one last time. Repeat to the dorsiflex, extend the knee, and then nice and control, curl or flex down. Replace to the ground. Final time on the other side. Vertical quad, slow tension to extend. Standardize that the quad knee stays in the same place as we point. Flex the ankle, re-straighten the leg if allowed. And one last time, point, flex, re-straighten, and then control that curl. Back down, return the feet to the floor. From here, Lauren will stay on the back, and I'll do this next movement from standing. While on the floor, pull one leg to flex at the knee and the hip, that the foot approaches that inside aspect of the knee. From here, continue to flex the hip, so the knee is more or less parallel with the hips now. For a couple in a row, perform an external rotation in the hip, serving yourself a nice cup of tea on the heel, and then check the bottom of your shoe for gum as we try to do that internal rotation on the hip. Politely cramp these lateral butt cheeks. Repeat a couple more as we do that external rotation, turning out in the hip, serving ourselves a little teacup here, and then with the knee in the same position, the ribs and hips maintaining that strong relationship too, internally rotate on the hip. Repeat one last time as we open, return to center, and then find the floor, extending at the knee and the hip. Repeat on the other side. Flexing the hip and the knee, pulling towards parallel at the hips or waist. Then, I missed a step, I'm sorry. So then continue to flex with the foot away from the body. Pick that ankle shape, either the ballet foot or the dorsiflex, and then from the hip, our external rotation, and then our internal rotation. Checking the sole of the foot for gum. Couple more here as we do that external rotation, stability through the core, and mobility through that hip. Politely chase those lateral butt cheek cramps, and we'll return one more time to the external rotation, one more time to the internal, and then connect the foot to the leg and return down. Add a little fun wiggle in there. Let's flip on over, start warming up those wrists as we'll be on the hands for portions of our getup.
Warming up our wrists, gently placing down your fingertips first with nice straight fingers, and then press through them. Your baby finger will connect eventually through the callus line, keeping your elbows nice and straight, and the palms will find the floor. From here, just as needed, wide open fingertips. Shrug your shoulders into your ears, bringing your blades up, and then pull them down, juice and oranges in your armpits. Repeat again, gently shrug your shoulders and pull them down. Now, looking down at your elbows, I want you to try to see those blood donation or elbow pits rotating forward. Without moving your shoulders, can you rotate those backwards or hide those donations to try to show the butt of your elbow? And repeat. Blood donations forward and rotate. And one last time to end with them forward. So our elbows are nice and straight, our shoulders are set, our fingers are gripping the floor. Push some weight into every finger, and then use that weight to press yourself up and away, extending and shaking that out. We'll do the same thing from a slightly different angle. Come down again. Palms will be facing each other as you come down. Fingertips, press through. Callus line, elbows super straight. Palms come down. Pull your shoulders down out of your ears. Blood donations forward. Let's press our right fingers into the floor, and that'll send us to the left. Now press your left fingers into the floor, sending yourself back over to the right side. Repeat a couple times, feeling how you can use those fingers to transfer your weight from side to side and getting a little wrist extension while you're here. Come back through center, peel the palms away from the floor, keeping the elbows straight, and then flick the floor away with those fingertips. Last one, my favorite. To knuckles, hinge to place them down. Pack shoulders, so pull them down, elbows really straight. Roll over the back of your hand, so the back of your hand comes towards the floor. You're trying to open up your fingertips. Now from here, push into the back of the floor with your hand to press up to that fist position. Same thing other side. Roll over the back of the hand, opening up. Press into the floor back to that fist position. We'll try one more time each side. As you're doing this, be honest. Is your elbow straight? If we're starting to bend that elbow, maybe we need to elevate our surface like to a wall or a chair. Press back up. Last time, where's your shoulder? Try to pull it out of your ear. Then pressing the floor away, and we'll extend our hips to tall.
The lunges.
From here, we'll pull a single leg through. You go sideways.
I'll go sideways.
We'll pull a single leg through to our kneeling lunge position. With that leg directly out in front of us, I have my back toe tucked. If your back toe is untucked, make sure it's pointing straight back behind you. Now, with your hands on your hips, gently draw 2 hula circles one way. As if you have a hula hoop on, you're trying to trace a nice circle around the room. Once you've done 2 ways that way, 2 ways the other way, 2 circles. Reaching for all the corners or edges of the circle, ending up center. When you end up center, hips are level, slightly tucked under, squeezing that back cheek. Drive down into the floor with that front foot and pull on it. As you pull, you're going to start drifting your knee towards over your toe. Making sure your shoulders stay stacked over your hips as you're doing this. Keep squeezing your back butt cheek. Stay here, relax for a second. Now squeeze your back butt cheek again. Drive into the floor, pull, maybe you can drift a little bit further forward, and now press down and press forward to meet yourself to tall, extending that back hip through, and then gently relax. Pull that knee underneath. We'll do the same thing on the other side. Other leg comes up, hands on hips, 2 hula circles one direction. Do you hula easier one way than the other? And switch directions. A kneeling hula is a talent in itself. And to center. Tucking that hip under, squeezing your back butt cheek. Everything is stacked. Push down, pull on the floor, start drifting forward, keeping your shoulders over top of your hips. Squeeze your back cheek. Press, press, press. Now stay there but relax. Retuck your back cheek, push down. Maybe you can drift a little further forward. And then drive down and forward to meet yourself all the way up to tall, extending that back hip through for 3, 2, and then gently relax. We're going to come to standing here via our down dog. So your hands will come down to the floor. Toes are tucked. Right now, tilt your tailbone slightly to the ceiling, so this spilling the punch bowl out of your belly button. Now from here, with toes tucked, knees are going to lift. Keep that tailbone nice and long as you try to straighten your knees and lift your hips towards the ceiling. Breathe. Now bend your knees again. Tilt your tailbone to the ceiling. Keep that position as you try to straighten the knees out. Breathing right now, we have our elevated shoulders. And one last time, knee bend, tilt long, gently straightening out, trying to push those heels down. And then slowly walk feet to hands or hands to feet, using your hinge, nice long spine to extend to tall. Whew. Nice.
Right on. Here we are, standing nice and tall. Lauren said that hinge word, and we'll get into that in just a second. But first, just a little more conditioning for those shoulders. Open up to your sumo stance, powerful pose, and assemble those arms in our W. From here, we'll elevate our shoulders and then pull them down. Next, hands towards the back of the head without touching, just hover. For 1 repetition, shrug up, and then pull down, reset those elbows in the W. Make sure those shoulder blades are sitting flush to the rib cage and pull down to the hips, and repeat. Extend those arms towards overhead, and then extend the elbows approaching a T or a Y shape. From here, shrug just once, pull them back down, hands towards the back of the head. Repeat in the T shape or challenge yourself to the Y as you pull the armpits low to extend those elbows. Hold for a 1/1000 longer, shrug up, pull down, bend on the elbows, returning the hands to the back of the head, and pull through those armpits, elbows towards the ribs. Finish with the palms forward. Shaking it out. Going forward, we're working on our get up, work on the overhead mobility components like the basics before we load it with a kettlebell. From here, Take over that hinge word there, Lauren. 2-foot hinges.
2 feet hinges. With your feet slightly wider than your hips, rock back and forth just to find a nice footfall. From here, take your hands, chop your hips back. As you press your hips, reaching the wall behind you, tuck your chin a little bit and look down. Are all 10 toes gripping the floor? Are your arches pulled up because your feet are active? Are your shins vertical or perpendicular with the floor? Do you feel that weight through hammies and butt cheeks? Can you brace your core? Push down into the floor and out as you press to stand tall. At the top, punch yourself in your stomach, punch yourself in your butt. You should be braced. You'll have to relax a little bit. Let's repeat. Hip hinge. Hips go back. I like to slide when I'm barehanded. I like to slide my hands down my shins just to make sure they're vertical. Push into the floor. Drive down and out to stand tall. Punches. 3 more times. Hip hinge. Feel that load through hamstrings and glutes. Brace core. Up to tall. 2 more. As you're doing this hinge, you're thinking that the load on your body is through your hips, hamstrings, and core, not that low back. So make your tree trunk core nice and tight as you stand to tall. Shaking it out.
Get-ups to the ground. We could place an arm straight overhead or have that arm placed across the chest. Whichever you prefer, follow Lauren's hand across chest or me with that hand overhead. The leg that we can then touch will drop back into our lunge. Open the leg to the side. Set up our rotation through the upper back first, then the hinge on the hip, returning the hand to the floor. Lean over or stack, then sweep the leg to our tall sit. From our tall sit, we'll find our elbow, and then we're going to go to, I would like us to go to the floor 1 second and return to where we are here. Push through the elbow 1 second away and come back to tall. Let's repeat for 2 seconds to the floor. 1, 2, and then back. The same thing for 3. 1, 2, 3, back. And now 4 seconds, no crash bang, nice and control, only to the floor. Reset. Let's come up using that hip extension. We push through the bent leg and then pull on the elbow. From there, we'll hit our tall sits position. We'll bridge, sweep that leg, press the floor away, and come up to tall in the lunge. If your arm is overhead, pull down, like we can groove that pattern with an overhead bell. Switch to the other side. This could be called our racks position, and from rack, we'll press overhead. The leg that we can touch drops back, and scissor those legs, keeping that back leg extended. Then open to the side, add the rotation, then the hip hinge, and stack over top. From there, sweep through into that tall sit. Find the elbow, 1 second, and return to the floor, and then stack. Push the elbow in the floor for 2 seconds, and return. 3, 2, 1, and return. And then 4, 3, 2, to the ground. From here, extend the hip, pull on the elbow. We're coming all the way back up now, and to the tall sit. Bridge, sweep, slide up, square up, and to tall. Pull that arm down.
Well,
Out of the corner of my eye, I see Lauren fidgeting with her necklace. Maybe she wants to take that off. And this is one of the only times whenever we train, that I take my wedding ring off. I put it off to the side, but I do kind of check in with that too. So make any adjustments that you need to make it just right. Lauren,
I'm sorry.
Can you remind me where my ring is there?
I just know it was
it?
clunking against my microphone.
Get those conditions just right.
Okay.
Single leg hinges.
We did our 2-legged hinges. We're now going to do our single leg hinges. We do that out of our 2-legged hinge. That means set up like you just did. Chop your hips back. Nice brace core as you push one leg away to stack your weight over a single leg. Once you've transferred that load fully, nothing should have changed. Your shin's vertical, your foot's still gripping the floor. Trace that leg in a circle all the way to behind you. Feel the load through hip and hammy. Check in, is your shin still vertical? You might have to sit back a bit more. As one unit, We're going to extend to tall. Place that foot down. Second side. Hip hinge. Transfer load to the other leg. Point that leg long out the side. Trace it to the back, keeping contact with the floor. Feel the load through hammy glute. Extend to tall. Step. Please take your time. Use your hinge. And stay connected to the floor with that leg the entire time. Long circle to the back. Check in, vertical shin. Extend to tall. Step. Hip hinge. Load that other side. Bracing core. I like to think about that hip and ball and socket joint in my hip. Feeling load, but feeling stable in all 360 degrees. 2 more. Hip hinge. Shift that weight. Try not to change anything in that hinge as you reach long out the back. Extend to tall. Last one. Hip hinge. Transfer that load, reaching out to the side. Trace the floor. And then up to tall. Nice.
Woo.
Shake it up.
One more time, getting down and then right back up. And then grab that kettlebell off to the side or the pretend load, dumbbell, you name it. Working on some load strategies in a second. For now, arm across chest or arm overhead. Leg we can touch, nice and slow, no crash on the lunge. Then the leg opens to the side. Rotate the torso first, then hinge on that hip. When we're here, is that hand overhead stacked over the hand on the ground. Then sweep through in the tall sit. Find the elbow, and now just 4 seconds to the floor. 1, 2, 3, and floor. And from there, extend the hip, pull on the elbow, coming back up. Tall sits next. Our bridge, making sure we don't bonk heads. And then slide up the leg, square up the lunge. Abs like Lauren Q's. Stand up and pull down. Add that little shake in between and repeat one last time on the other side. Across the chest or overhead, leg steps back. Keep that back hip forward as you descend in the lunge and open to the side. Upper body turns first. Then we set up that hinge. Hand to the floor, sweep the leg through. Find the elbow, proud on that shoulder, pushing the floor away for 4, 3, 2, control. Extend the hip as we come back up, pulling on that elbow. Tall sits next. Bridge, sweep, hand up the leg, square up the lunge, core tension, tall, and pull, and shake. We have our kettlebells off to the side here, and going forward, we're working on our low carries for time in left and right hands, bodyweight squats. Then we'll take that same load and transition to the firing range position on the floor, come back up, and work on another squat variation. Hallmarks of the carry for the farmer carry, that low hold, include standing over your bell, hip hinging, grabbing on with one, extending to tall, and resetting out at the side. The load of that bell will likely pull you one way, so activate the core to counterbalance and stay strong. Hold for time, reset to the floor, come up barehanded, add those wiggles to stay loose, and repeat on the other side. For today, about 20 seconds on each side. So I'm straddling that load. I'll be grabbing with my right hand. My right hand touches and pack those shoulders like Lauren said in that warm-up. From here, core brace to tall. Reset your feet as you need. Pack that shoulder, share the load with the opposing side of the body, and again, pressing the feet into the floor for tension. Holding for about 10 seconds longer, breathing, bracing, and for 5, 4, open your stance, return the kettlebell to the floor, come up through that gorgeous hinge, be prepared, and then wiggle it. Catch your breath. Same thing on the other side. Set up the hip hinge. My left hand grabs, shoulders nice and square. With the core brace, we'll lift, step together, check in. Is the kettlebell pulling you to one side? If so, core up on the other side to help share that load. Sharing the load includes pushing those feet in the floor, squeezing the glutes, bracing the core, and counting down for 5 more seconds. Breathing through. Open your stance, hinge to the floor, and come up barehanded. Add that wiggle.
Squats.
Squat time.
We'll leave that bell and we perform some bodyweight squats. In your squat stance, again, that might be slightly wider than shoulder width for you, depends on your body. I like to rock back and forth a couple times. From here, tall chest, pull yourself down into your squat. You're safe low. From here, drive down and out to stand up tall. Repeat. Noticing when we squat, we're trying to get our butt below our knees, but prioritize that extended spine or chest up versus chest landing on your quads. I don't want you in this low hunky squat. Up to tall. 2 more. Pulling yourself down and then driving out and down and out to stand up. 1 last time. Pulling that floor together, feeling the adductors pull you down and drive down and out to tall. Oh.
Yeah. Shake it out in between. High tension throughout that squat. Let's transition to the floor through that hinge, right next to your kettlebell here, and holding it in the firing range. Setting up the hip hinge, the shins are vertical, tip forward, fingertips down first, and then walk out to a plank. And again, high tension on the plank as you can, and nice and control.
So push up down.
Your push up down. Then cuddle up next to that kettlebell and the firing range. For the firing range, I'm cuddling the bell. My left hand is on it. My pinky is near the corner.
Just a second. Your left hand might be a different hand. It's your bottom hand.
The bottom hand. The handle is parallel with my calluses. And with a nice firm grip, I'll pack the shoulders, take a breath in to prepare, roll, and with 2 hands, press. As allowed, remove that secondary hand and place it to the side where it is for the getup. Pack that shoulder down and challenge the vertical forearm in relation to the floor while being supported through the shoulder blade and the musculature of the back. We'll continue to hold this posture for about 5 more seconds. Pull the shoulder blade into your midline. Hold for a second or 2 longer.
Keeping a nice straight wrist.
2 hands on. Pull the elbow to the hip. Turn and place down. I like to do my little turtle turn or my spin around on my butt, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. So here I have my right hand on that kettlebell with my pinky near a corner. My shoulders are packed. My second hand is now on that kettlebell for assistance, and then we'll roll to our back, and with 2 hands, press. Hand away as allowed, out to the side like a getup. That armpit is continuing to pull the scapula towards the hip while maintaining our vertical arm and firm grip with the wrist looking straight and stacked over the elbow. We'll hold for about 5 more seconds again and continue to pull the armpit low, challenging the vertical forearm. Hold for time. 2 hands on, pull it down to the hip and back to that cuddle. Might we be able to do a push-up up from your knees or from the floor? Start down low. Hands in your push-ups or pressing position. First, tuck under those hips. Then, from the knees or the toes, single press up. Take your time with the tailbone pointing to the ceiling like Lauren's down dog earlier. Come back to that hinge and extend to tall. Great. Go ahead. Yep, single leg squats.
From 2-legged squats to single leg squats, the time is now. With your legs standing underneath you, gently peel the foot up off the floor, connecting the ball of the foot to your ankle bone, that malleolus. Now, keeping your shoulders stacked over your hips, gently press your knee towards over your toe. And for the first time, from there, just extend, growing up to tall. Let's repeat, adding a little bit more. Knee presses over toe. And now you might tap down that other foot for a little balance. Try to sit your butt back a little bit lower. From there, remove that stabilizing foot and hold for 3, 2, and then press to tall. Let's do 1 more. Knee over toe, tap down, Sit your butt back a little bit. Leave that stabilizing foothold, and then press to tall. Relax. Shake that out. Check in as we do that on the other side. Make sure you're not relying on both knees together to keep you stable. We want a little gap between so that we're not using that. If you need balance, get an outside aid. From here, connect. So knees not touching. Knee press over toe. On the first one, just to here, and then extend to tall. Repeat again. Knee press over toe. Light tap down. Try to sit back a little lower. Load it with your full body. 3, 2, extend to tall. One more time. Knee over toe. Tap. Sit down. Hold on a single leg. 3, 2, and press to tall. Shake it out.
Excellent.
All the single legs.
Repeating those series of drills for one more round, and hopefully this time the kettlebell feels lighter. It's probably the same load. If you need a lighter load, by all means, take your time and grab that. But building that familiarity with your kettlebell aims to break down some of those barriers that might be preventing you from lifting your heavier load. We're going to set up like Lauren here, right over top of that kettlebell.
We're going back to the low carry.
Low carry. So the handle is parallel with my feet. We'll set up the hip hinge. Grab on with one arm. Are the shoulders square? Maybe take them off square and pull on that kettlebell to load up. And with your preload tension, to tall, and then out to the side. Hold for time. Press those feet into the ground. Share the load between 2 feet. Firm tension in this off hand will help stabilize that movement too. And if you feel yourself giving into that kettlebell for 5 more seconds, find the way to create tension in center with firm abs, tight glutes, active feet. Open your stance, return the bell to the floor, and come up barehanded. Shake, wiggle, or roll. One more time on the other side. Hip hinge, hand on, shoulders square, the preload. On the core brace, adjust your stance. Right now I'm kind of overselling how heavy that bell is. Then I'll pull back to center, adjust your feet if you need more, high tension over here, holding for 10 more seconds. Are we building our strength and endurance, or are we feeling in pain? That's not cool if that's the case. Build your strength, build some endurance, return to the floor, like you could do it again, but I promise that's it for the day on that.
2-legged squats again. Back to that squat stance. Let's pull ourselves down again, keeping that chest lifted, spine extended, drive down and away, up to tall. Pull self down, take a little bit of that inhale, and then use that brace to help yourself up. Imagining one day you're doing this with your kettlebell or a load of any sort. And as you get down here, this is your lowest point. You want to keep that brace the whole time. Last one, pulling yourself down, up to tall, and shake it out.
Excellent. Utilizing that hinge, return to the floor for one more time in that firing range. Hip hinge, check. Vertical shins and then tip forward. High plank or push-ups position and squeeze your butt as you slowly return to the floor. When you're on the floor, modify or adjust your position as you need. And here, firing range position for the last time today. This time it's my right hand that's on the bell, or I'm on my right side, so my right hand gripping. Near the pinky, callus line firm, 2 hands on that kettlebell with a packed shoulder, roll to the back, and press. Keep the hand on the bell if you need, and as allowed, take it away out to the side like in our getup. My armpit continues to pull to my hip as my arm is vertical in relation to the floor. I'm shaking a little bit. Hear it in my voice. Go ahead.
Remembering that our bell is on the outside of our arm, lined up on the outside of our body. Don't let that rotate in over your face. Keep it out there.
That's probably 20. So we'll go 2 hands on the bell, pull the elbow to the hip, and then return the cuddle. Cueing it like you could do it again is a great place to be when we're training here. Avoid that all-out fatigue right now and save a little bit in the tank in case we do it another time. But I promise for today, this is the last time in this move. From your cuddle, roll to your back, up, core brace with your push. Packing that shoulder, pulling it towards the hip and vertical at the forearm. A firm grip on the kettlebell, as Lauren cued there, keeping it away from our face. Bells on the outside of the forearm, armpits pulling in tight to stabilize. And for 5 more seconds, build strength, endurance, confidence under the bell. And then 2 hands on, pull the kettlebell to the hip and finish in the cuddle. Let's return to our front side, hands in our push-ups position, and then hips tuck first, core press from the knees or toes, and then tailbone tilt to the ceiling, cueing that hinge, and extend the hips through. Shaking out.
Nice. Single legs again. We're going to do the exact same single leg squat. With standing on that single leg, peel and connect. From here, knee presses over toe. But we're going to do 3 of them. Tap down. Sit back a little lower. Load it, hold it. Up to toe. Again, knee over toe. Tap. Sit back a little bit lower. Load it 100%. Up to toe. Full knee extension, full glute squeeze. Last one. Knee over toe. Tap down. Sit back a little bit more. Load it. Up. Shake it. Shake that quad out too.
Shake up those quads.
You're going to be exploding later today. Ankle to foot to ankle bone. Knee presses over that toe. Tap down, sit a little bit lower, pushing back in the hip. Load it, extend to tall. 2 more. Knee over toe. Light tap to sink. Load it 100%. Hup, tall. 1 more. Knee over toe. Light tap. Sit back a bit. Hold it. And up. Whew. Shake it.
We like to squat. We like to swing. How are you in regards to that kettlebell swing? As we go forward here with a couple of our bodyweight swing drills, check in with your hinge. After that, feel free to use that deadlift or your bodyweight hinges as we proceed to get some strength and conditioning going with our kettlebell swing. First, shadow swing. Arms could be out front. For right now, protract those shoulders as to round forward, and then retract, squeezing together. Stiff arms, pull down towards touching hips. At that place in the hinge, we'll press the hips back, keeping the shoulders stacked over the knees, and then hands tight to groin, pushing out on the feet. Wapow! Arms float. Are they in retraction at the shoulders? Squeeze together. For 1 more time, arms down, timing that hinge, minimizing that time we do spend in the back here with the kettlebell, and then to come up, cramp those glutes, float the arms, and then relax. That shadow swing is a nice drill to get that timing structure as you proceed towards the kettlebell swing. Something slightly more ballistic is Lauren's chop and pop.
Chop and pop.
Chop and pop it.
That shadow swing gives you the idea of what the swing actually is, the individual motions. This gives us the timing. So on this one, we'll take our hands. We'll chop our hips back, pop our hips forward. Continue that timing. Chop, pop, chop, pop. At the top here, exhale, squeeze your butts. Brace your core. Stop yourself because your abs do the work, not your low back. Let's go 3 more. Chop. And punches. Last one. And relax.
In an alternating fashion, the I go, you go transitions 5 swings. Appropriate versions of the swing could include one of those 2 drills we just performed, or continuing to pick up your kettlebell deadlift with 1 hand, or 2, groove the pattern, build some strength and endurance, and let's challenge our swing. Are you the I or am I the Y? How does that go?
You go. You're the I today.
I'm the I today.
So Ian's going to set up for 5 kettlebell swings. Whether you're chopping, popping, shadow swinging, deadlifting, in 3, 2, Team Ian, 5 swings, 5. 5 of whatever you're doing. Make sure you're doing it with integrity and in relative intensity.
Whew.
That's appropriate for your skill.
Breathing matches. High tension on the core brace, timing it so that you're as tall for as long as possible. When the arms connect to the hips, we hinge.
Team Ian's going again. So you're either doing this drill with me or with Ian, not with both. Take some time to rest in between, thinking about what you're going to do next.
Whew.
Sets of 5.
Cueing it like we could do it again. Take some rest off. Maybe rest a little extra longer if you need, but at least pairing that one interval of 5 swings, but the same timing without the kettlebell. Or more if you just keep talking.
Ian's team, another set of 5. As we recover, try to slow your breath down with your control. Breathing in and out the nose, filling the belly.
Trying to be efficient on that park when we return that kettlebell to the ground. High intensity on the swings, but also that control that we could do it again. This is set 4.
Set 4 for Team Ian here. Shaking it out in between. Even though we're recovering breathing, if you're with Ian, you're strong breathing. Exhale as those hips snap through.
4 is my second favorite number, next to 5 today, because 5 will be the last. Shake it out in between. We can stay strong, loose, and now we'll apply those high tension techniques.
Last set here. Keeping it tight. Swing number 25 should look just like swing number 1. You're not saving energy, you're saving power. You're using it evenly on every swing.
Woo. 5 swings to finish. Start strong, finish stronger, learn something about that swing, and again, finish like you can do one more next week. We're done for today with that. To recover, one hand belly and one hand on the chest. Stand in a pose comfortable for you, and with the mouth closed, breathe in the nose, filling the belly. This is going to be a hard drill for me. Exhale.
Do you want me to do it?
Let's repeat that again. Mouth closed, breathe into the belly. And then exhale. One more time into the belly. And exhale. Into the chest next. Big breaths up top. Fill up the rib cage and exhale. One more time in the ribs again. Exhale. Final breathing drill. Take a 4-second breathe into the belly. And then breathe into the chest. And now 8 seconds exhale. And then wiggle. Great strategies for breathing include to relax, include breathe in and out slower. Check it out. Whether you're sleeping, recovering from exercise, breathe in fully, out slowly for relaxation and recovery. Anything to add today, Lauren?
No.
Great.
Had a great time building our strength from our firing range position all the way through to many carries. And lastly, our swings.
You got it.
We'll do it again next week. Yeah. And in between there, we have our bar class tomorrow morning. Hopefully you'll join us. And Friday, a little restore and recharge. Remember, stay strong.
Take care.
And we'll see you soon.
Have a great day.
Goodbye.
Have a great day. Goodbye.